Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we have some more stream reveals. So it wasn't the most eventful as far as the coming set goes. Normally we see like a VR or a triple rare or something like that. This time we didn't. We just saw some SPs, but without any skills. So But then they did show us the new mechanic of the Granblue, Pale Moon, Murakumo, and DI set. So the new mechanic is for Granblue, we already knew that. It is for the triple rare and under slots. So kind of look at it like a Blue Wing, where it's taking up a few slots that's not your VR, and your VR does not represent that mechanic in any way. It's just an extra deck you can build, or maybe an engine you can splash into the actual deck. We'll see how that ends up working out. The mechanic is called Treasures, and it's essentially a treasure marker, which you can put on your rearguard or Vanguard circles. So this is the way it looks. It looks pretty cool, and it actually doesn't do anything. The only thing it does is allow cards which get value from treasure markers existing to get better. So a card may say, oh, when you have X treasure markers, do this. But the card itself doesn't do anything. It doesn't give power, it doesn't do anything with effects, it just does nothing, it exists, and then cards get value from it. So then we got a bunch of cards revealed that are all 7 Seas retrains using this effect, essentially. So first of all, we have 7 Seas Apprentice Night Runner, and the first skill on all of these is exactly the same. So the first skill will always be auto on V and R. When its attack hits, choose one of your V or R without any treasure markers and put a treasure marker there. All the cards we will be going over will have that skill. The thing hits, you put a treasure marker anywhere you want. And its second skill is act, cost, bind this unit and put 2 cards from the top of your deck into the drop zone. Return a card with 7 Cs in its card name, not named 7 Seas Apprentice Night Runner, from your drop zone to your hand. So you essentially have 4 extra copies of whichever 7 Seas cards you do like through this card, because you can recur them that way without having to necessarily revive them. Then we have 7 Seas Helmsman Nightcrow. Again, first skill is just the on hit create a treasure marker, and then an act drop zone. If you have a Vanguard with 7 Seas in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1 and retire a rearguard not named 7 Seas Nightcrow and call this card to R. So if you have any card that you don't really like, that you don't really need, and you have a 7 Seas Vanguard, you can basically kill it to then get your Nightcrow instead, which has the value of being a 7 Seas, if they get value from that, we'll see, of having the on hit to make a treasure marker, essentially turning all your non-7 Seas excess into Nightcrows, if you can have it in your drop zone. Now it does cost soul, so you can't spam it, but still pretty cool to have. Then we have Witch Doctor of the 7 Seas Race Tutor. Again, the first skill is the same old on hit, and then continuous on R. If there is a marker on this unit's circle, this unit gets intercept. So if there's a treasure marker, it has intercept. Then 7 Seas Pillager Night Spinal. Again, the same on hit as before. It hits, boom, you get a treasure marker. And then the second skill is auto on V and R. When placed, cost Counterblast 1, put 2 cards from the top of your deck into the drop zone and call up to 1 card with 7 Seas in its card name, not named 7 Seas Pillager Night Spinal, from your drop zone to R. So this is just like the old Night Mist, but then without all the restrictions, apart from the fact that you do need the 7 Seas name. So that's a pretty good card, it's in the double R slot. Then we have 7 Seas Master Swordsman / Shade. Again, the same old skill. When it hits, get a treasure marker, and then continuous on R during your turn. If there is a marker on this unit's circle, this unit gets power plus 15k. So this is going to be a 24k beat stick, as long as it's on a circle with a marker. And then the actual card that makes all of this matter, because you wonder, like, why the hell do I want these treasures? Is it really to get 15k on / Shade? Am I really gonna run all these cards just for that? No, there is one more card that makes that potentially worth it, and that is Lord of the 7 Seas Night Mist. Again, the same skill. Auto on VNR, when its attack hits, place a marker anywhere. But then continuous on V, you get all of the effects below according to the number of your treasure markers. 1 or more, all of your rear guards with 7 Cs in their card names can attack and intercept from the back row. So just like that, having this skill, you have kind of like a little Megiddo turn, You're just gonna attack with all of your rear guards 1 by 1 until your opponent hits a defensive trigger, and then this stops doing anything except for / Shade, which hits over a defensive trigger. Still, that is pretty painful. Then 3 or more, during your turn, all of your units with 7 Cs in their card names get power plus 5k. So that doesn't really push anything over defensive triggers, but I suppose it does make stuff bigger and more annoying to guard. And then 6 or more, this unit gets auto on V at the end of the battle it attacked. Stand all of your rear guards with 7 Cs in their card names. The first 2 skills give you a Megiddo turn, essentially, without all the revives, of course. And then the 6th skill makes you multi-attack on top of that. You suddenly restand just everything. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, restand everything, and then you attack 5 more times. Again though, except for Slash Shade, none of this hits over defensive. More importantly, it says 6 or more treasures. Now so far, all the cards that make treasures are on hits. So you need to have hit 6 or more times, or else you're not restanding anything. But if you've hit 6 times already, that means you've won. Now, you can hit on rear guards as well. It does not specify that you have to hit a Vanguard. So if you've been sniping off a lot of rear guards, okay, they may not be dead yet, and then you can get the real payoff of having 11 attacks in a turn. Do note there are 11 pokes. So if your opponent has a defensive trigger, game over. So I feel like the playstyle of this deck will literally be snipe off your opponent's rear guards by constantly attacking them, because that's the only way to get to 6. Of course, you also want to hit the Vanguard because you don't want to give them the chance of defensive triggering. And then literally the second the final part of Night Mist is live, that skill essentially reads, if your opponent does not get a defensive trigger, you win. Boom, that's that. If they get a defensive trigger, you lose. Whoa. I'm not super excited for this because it's taking up slots that could have been actually useful to Granblue as a whole, you know, playstyle wise, whereas all these cards only work together. There are only 7 Cs and only treasures, and like anything beyond that doesn't really help them all that much. I'm hoping this mechanic doesn't take up even more slots, important slots, because remember, this is already a double rare and a triple rare gone just like that. We'll also get the double rare Sentinel crit, and then we'll also get the triple rare Tommy the Ghosty Brothers probably, which will check top 5 for a grade 3. So that leaves us with very limited options for actually impactful cards. So that's one reason I'm not super excited about this existing. But then again, this is like a fun high roll deck that is very budget friendly because it will not work with the VR apparently. So I suppose that is solid. Night Mist's art does look very cool, so there is that, and only time and testing can tell how good this will truly be. That is all for today. Hope you found this really interesting. Be sure to smash a like on this video. It does help with the algorithm. Subscribe to this channel and I will see you soon. Ciao.